My name's Alexander Millington. I'm creative director of Infinitive, and I'm also the performer and writer for one of our current touring productions, I Heart Michael Ball. We started working on I Heart Michael Ball last year, and it's a one-man show exploring grief and loss through the eyes of this obsessed Michael Ball fan. It features some of the music of Michael Ball and has received a wonderful handful of nominations for awards and brilliant reviews. And so we're continuing the tour this year to Nottingham Playhouse and the Lantern Theatre for the Brighton Fringe.
Amazing. And then going back to the start of it, what kind of inspired you to create the piece?
A combination of things. I, for one, am a fan of Michael Ball, not quite to the extent that the character is. And when we came up with the idea, we were thinking of a project we could sort of do as a scaled down version of our previous work, which required 3-4 actors. And this time we wanted to do something a little bit smaller, a little bit more intimate, more engaging with the audience. And so we just had the idea of what if someone is obsessed with someone and it's that journey that this character is talking about in front of the audience. And so, like I say, my own love of Michael Ball thought, well, we'll give that a try, and thankfully it's worked quite nicely.
Yeah, and then where did Michael Ball come into your life? Kind of like, I know mine come through my mother more than anything, kind of how listening to it and hearing the music from my childhood. Where did it kind of start for you?
For me, it was probably a combination of listening to his radio show on Sundays on BBC Radio, but also the first album of his I got was his Past and Present Very Best of Michael Ball. I just happened to be going through a stage of buying lots of best of albums, trying to explore different genres of music. Came across his and just sort of fell in love with it straight away. There are some amazing songs. He's got an amazing voice and a brilliant way of telling a story through these songs as well.
Did you have to kind of delve into that world of like fan clubs and stuff when you are writing the show?
Yes, absolutely. So the show itself works on the premise that the audience are coming to attend a meeting of the Michael Ball Appreciation Society, which is a made-up society we created for the show, but we have created social media outlets for it as well. And we have taken inspiration from some of the other Michael Ball fan clubs that are out there. There are surprisingly quite a few, and to varying degrees of, in the nicest possible way, obsession. Some of these groups go to they go to all his gigs. They go to whenever he's doing book signings, or go to the BBC studios and get pictures with him and things like that. And so when the audience come to meet Alex, the character within the play, they are attending one of these society meetings.
And then, as you said, touched at the start, the kind of combination of grief as well in there. How do you kind of combine that with the kind of Michael Ball element?
So the grief element is the fact that the character Alex is remembering a lot of what his childhood meant to him, remembering his time with his brother, and the childhood he had wasn't the nicest. It was an abusive family and very hard times for them. But the one thing that sort of kept him together was listening to the music of Michael Ball with his brother. And so whenever he listens to this music, he remembers those times and how connected they both felt. But as the play goes on, we sort of learn how their relationship changed and how the grief suddenly sets in after one particular event in his life. And now that need to listen to the music has just grown beyond reminiscence and nostalgia to now being an absolute must in his life, and having this calling to want to sing with Michael Ball himself.
Yes. And then what would you want an audience member to take away from seeing the production?
I want them to take away hopefully some enjoyment, as well as some fun facts of Michael Ball, which we've sprinkled through. I want them to feel connected to the character. We as a theatre company, as Split Infinitive, we create pieces of theatre which we hope and aim to be engaging and to a slight extent slightly interactive. Not in a scary panto way of calling everyone up on stage, making them do things, but we want to have the performance to also be a conversation between the actor and the audience. And so I want them to feel a connection with this character, like they know them, they support them, and they sympathise with what they're going through.
And how gratifying is it when you kind of say at the start, kind of, you've got all these nominations and everything that's been successful, that you are bringing it back this year?
It's been amazing. It really has. This was our second touring production. Our first one called Three Way. We got some good reviews. We were very happy with that. And that was wonderful. But we just weren't quite prepared to how well I Heart Michael Ball was going to go in terms of the response that we got, the nominations, the reviews, and that so many venues want to keep having us on board, which is fantastic. It's brilliant to have them come to us sometimes rather than us always chasing them. As a performer and producer, that's as good as it's going to get. I think that's absolutely brilliant.
And for you, if you were going to join a fan club of anyone in the world, who would you join?
I think I would still have to join Michael Ball myself. I will stick with the Michael Ball Appreciation Society. I would join the others. They have magazines, they have meetings. They're just lovely people. Like I say, it gets a bit obsessive at times, but they're all very friendly. They're all very supportive. They want Michael to do well, and they want each other to do well. So that would be the place for me.
Yes, good answer. I can't believe I've written this question, but does love really change everything?
It is a question that I ask myself whenever I stand on stage as this character. Will we find love? Will it change things? I think it does. The character's love for his brother and for Michael Ball is what drives him through the show. Without that, there is very little other than me stood on stage in a raincoat.
Brilliant. And I asked this question to everyone I interview. Simply, what does theatre mean to you?
A great deal. It's what I've loved since school. I'd started at GCSE. I've did it through college, through university, and everything else. It's the main thing I go to London for, is to go to the theatres. And without getting too in depth with it, with the current climate, I think it is important now more than ever that we keep it accessible, that we keep it financially feasible for audiences to attend. Which is why, for me, I think the places like Nottingham Playhouse and going to fringe festivals are brilliant, because they have prices there which are representative of the demographics there. They can afford to see it. They can see it at a reasonable cost, which isn't going to put them out of pocket. And so it's still the best form of entertainment as far as I'm concerned.
Wholeheartedly agree. My final question then for you is the easiest one. Why should anyone out there book to come and see I Heart Michael Ball?
Because you will laugh, you will cry, you will have a good time, you will get a pin badge saying that you were there, and it will make you feel a part of a wonderful community that loves a fantastic performer.
Brilliant. Alexander, it's been a treat to talk to you. The show is coming to Nottingham Playhouse 28th of April and Brighton Fringe 31st of May and 2nd and 3rd of June.